Total War Warhammer 3's on GeForce NOW. Can GeForce NOW outdo Boosteroid and bring the full Total War experience to their pick-up-and-play service? I'm Little Quick, and we're going to review Creative Assembly's most ambitious Total War game of all time on GeForce NOW. A benefit of simple on-demand cloud services like GeForce NOW and Boosteroid is that there's no setup save a login, and no installation or space issues to worry about. For giant 100GB games like Total War, it's more than just a convenience. It can save you storage upgrade costs and install time. The game's release on GeForce NOW coincides with the first major patch to Immortal Empires, with balance adjustments, bug fixes, and significant improvements to the pace of the campaign. I own this series on Steam, so we're going to be using that version of the game to play and test. There is an Epic Games version available as well, which may have its own quirks. Each of GeForce NOW's tiers offers a different experience. Let's hop into the free tier first. There'll be a wait until hardware allotted for free users opens up. My queue was 5 minutes during off-peak time. Checking the benchmark and ultra settings at 1080p gets us between 40 and 70 FPS throughout the test. I did notice some sound issues. You can hear breaks in the audio during the test run. The free tier having playtime limits means that jumping on for a few quick battles is ideal. Players can get lost in the Total War campaign for hours, so campaign play, and especially multiplayer campaign play, is not a great option for the hour-long limit, unless you like getting kicked out in the middle of your groove. Priority skips the queue time and gives you 6-hour play sessions, so you can get right into the action and play as long as you want. Ideal for campaign play. It offers the same or similar hardware to the free tier, so it's no surprise that the benchmark returns nearly identical performance. Even the load time of the benchmark was almost identical at about 2 minutes and 25 seconds. The 3080 tier has all the playtime perks of Priority, but supplies much more powerful hardware up to 4K resolution. Benchmarking ultra settings in 3080 and 4K gets us between 35 and 60 FPS. Dropping this down to 1080p will roughly double your performance, so if you like ultra settings and want to keep your FPS high, the 3080 tier hardware will do the job. The sound issues from before are non-existent. From here on, everything we talk about will be universally true for all tiers, free, priority, and the 3080. GeForce NOW will default your graphical settings to medium and unit size to small every time you start a new session. These lower default settings will push the FPS of each tier above 60, so if you prefer FPS performance to detailed graphics in more densely populated battles, you can leave the settings to default. If you prefer larger battles like I do, you'll need to change these settings every time you log into play. It'll be particularly annoying if you're hopping in repeatedly on the free tier. Game control was perfect. Mouse movement was precise and there were no control delays. It felt no different than playing locally on my PC. And let's see if GeForce NOW can do what Boosteroid couldn't. Host and join multiplayer battles and campaigns. Bing bing bing, we have a winner! GeForce NOW has no issues with initializing multiplayer. Nvidia's bandwidth easily covers multiplayer play as well, so there's no network-related lag. I ran into some slowdown issues when playing with a friend, but troubleshooting shows it was his spotty Wi-Fi connection, because I had no network issues with other players even when playing in fast forward. Though GeForce NOW outperformed Boosteroid with multiplayer, there were still some problems. For some players, mods are a critical part of the Total War experience. Total War Warhammer 3 has extensive mod support to allow players to customize their game for maximum fun. I attempted to enable a very simple mod, no aversion, in order to test this. It did not load. If anyone has luck loading mods, let us know, but our initial attempts were unsuccessful. Cloud saves are a feature within Steam that can be adjusted game to game. You have to have Steam Cloud Saves enabled in order to use the Cloud Save option within Total War Warhammer 3. Since GeForce NOW doesn't save local saves at all, there is no other way to save your progress while playing in GeForce NOW. Since GeForce NOW tries to skip the Steam interface as much as possible, changing your cloud save options has to be done outside of GeForce NOW unless your mouse clicking skills are the fastest, because adjusting your settings while the game is processing its very short load time on Steam is very difficult. GeForce NOW might want to reconsider their game loading process for this game, because some might need to adjust this critical setting. Another issue I've had with cloud saves is they're not enabled for multiplayer campaigns. This means that if you plan on saving and hosting a multiplayer campaign, you cannot save your progress within Total War from session to session. Since GeForce NOW doesn't keep any local saves like Boosteroid does, you'll miss out on any saves you don't put on the cloud. This cloud save feature is fine when playing in single player, as long as you remember to enable it, and only becomes a problem for multiplayer campaigns. Therefore, I recommend allowing someone who's not using GeForce NOW to host and save the game, even though Nvidia has great internet to host and play with. The verdict is mostly recommended. GeForce Now has a few issues, namely the multiplayer cloud saves, default settings that need changed every session, and difficulty adjusting critical Steam settings. This is outshined by the convenience of using a pick-up-and-play platform with great controls, bandwidth, and powerful hardware that can animate the most epic fantasy battles available in the industry. GeForce Now is currently the definitive way to play Total War Warhammer 3 on a pick-up-and-play cloud service, and will continue to be so until Boostroid gets their bugs ironed out of test mode to compete. That said, neither GeForce Now nor Boostroid have it quite right. If you'd like to play Total War Warhammer 3 on the cloud with no issues at all, and with full game features and mod support, you're going to need a true PC rental service such as Shadow or AirGPU to get the job done. If nothing else, I'm excited there's another platform to play Total War Warhammer, especially considering the PC rental services will not be as easy to set up. GeForce Now even has a limited use free tier if you want to try the 1080p version of the game 1 hour at a time. This series is one of my all-time favorites, but it requires powerful hardware which can limit how many people get to enjoy it to its full extent. If you have more to add, please join the discussion in the comments. I'd like to hear from someone who's tried the Epic Games version and if there's any quirks with it on GeForce Now. If you'd be kind enough to toss us a like if you enjoyed the video, it would help us grow and continue to bring you quality cloud gaming content. Subscribe to keep it tuned right here to the only place you can do battle in gaming heaven, Cloud Gaming Battle. I'm a little quick, conquering the Warhammer world, one province at a time.